line ho uyu line lero mwana mene mwana wanzeru line ho
line ho uyu line lero mwana mene mwana wanzeru kukacha mama wa amatengadzaje kusesa pakomo pamaivaje
kukacha mama
early morning
amatengadzaje
kusesa pakomo lamaivaje
magolo ali amuyamikira
akuti line lero mwana mene mwana wanzeru
magolo ali amuyamikira
akuti line lero mwana mene mwana wanzeru line ho uyu line lero mwana mene mwana wanzeru line ho uyu line lero mwana mene mwana wanzeru
agire gogo wana madingo zamuyamikira kuti na madingo mwana mene mwana wanzeru agire gogo wana madingo zamuyamikira
kuti na madingo mwana mene
mwana wanzeru
simuku na mago
talizina
mwe malota ine bambo wanga tandisiye
ndasalandeka talizina
mwe ni malota ine bambo wanga tamwalira
ndasalandeka Gondo mama Gondo une mama mwe Gondo mama chalamanda
Tafera moenda we Gondo mama Gondo une mama mwe Gondo mama chalamanda Utafera moenda we
Nangomba mbilio tumaona lelo Nangomba mbio maona lero Agidesi aimbaye Zogoma tumaona lero Adila wachabe Napolo wachabe
Malizendi Buffalo soldier Buffalo America Buffalo soldier Buffalo America.
When I was a young boy
I dreamed to the in America.
When I was a young boy
young boy I dreamed to the in America. Oi 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 Kashigena so agide oi 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 If I had much money I go to see in America. If I had much money I go to see in America. Oi 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 Omaliza gite oi
oi oi oi
oi oi oi oi oi
Well. We are live. Thank you. We're going to take
a short break. When we come back. Okay, what a lovely day. What a lovely day. We are glad to be coming your way. This is another episode of the Progressive Minds. Sorry for the late start of the show. The show is live on the Progressive Minds page on Facebook. On YouTube, it is the Progressive Minds Show. We are live also on MyStar Radio out there in Washington, D.C. It is a Pan-African radio station for this earning listener. This evening, we want to talk about our journey with the virus so far, coronavirus, COVID-19, the pandemic. It has a lot of accolades, a lot of terms, a lot of nicknames, but we know that as a people, as a nation, as a society, we have really, really struggled. But more importantly, we have thrived. A lot of us have done very well, even though there's so much struggle in our community. And so we want to be able to see how best we can have at least a decorum about this, right? A discussion about this to see how we have navigated this and how we can try to navigate through the few days or months or weeks ahead of us. We know it's not going to be a year though, okay? We know that things are going to come to normalcy very, very soon. So this evening, we are very glad that you are joining us. We are very excited to be coming your way again, and we will take Captain Mike's segment. Because of time, we will go straight to it. After Captain Mike is done, we will go to our guests and try to get to the thick of things. So please share the feed right now. Share the feed on Facebook and on YouTube whilst we take Captain Mike and come back to this segment and come back to the discussion for this evening. Now, I want to make sure that my brother is ready because it's been a struggle trying to get in. All right, we're good? All right, Captain Mike, take it from here.
All right. Right now, we're looking at 46 degrees and misty, overcast skies. And we'll go straight into the forecast. For the rest of tonight, we're looking at a low of about 42 degrees. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 48 to 45 degrees, mid-40s. And we're going to have some nice weather over the weekend, Friday and Saturday, Sunday. Next week is going to be really challenging. Monday, it's going to start out maybe with some rain, some gusty winds moving out of the northeast. We're going to have some lake enhanced and maybe some lake effect snow. It's going to change over to snow, maybe accumulation up to an inch. Tuesday, really interesting day, up to 1 to 2 inches more. So we're going to have a total of 3 inches over Monday and Tuesday. It's going to be really gusty and windy. So those temperatures are going to be even colder than that 30 and 33 degree low we're talking about there. So make sure you bundle up. Wednesday, not too bad. It's going to start out with maybe a little snow, maybe some precipitation. We're going to go up to about 40 degrees. Winds are still going to be out of the northeast and gusty. So we're going to have some challenging weather Monday, next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So get ready for that. Summer is definitely over. Going to go into sports. College basketball starts tonight. So if you like that, tonight's the night. In the Ghanaian Premier League, Hearts of Oak fought Ashanti Gold to a 2-2 draw.
Okay.
And now we're going to get into the health and fitness report. And we're going to talk about frostbite because summer is over. We're a few days away from meteorological winter, so it's here. What is frostbite? Well, that is the freezing of the skin or underlying tissue. There are 3 different types of frostbite. Frost nip, which is just kind of irritation that goes away. Superficial frostbite, as when you get you feel warm and you can get blisters maybe a day or so later, and deep frostbite, something that's really bad. You feel numbness, your joints, you may not be able to move them. And within 24 to 36 hours, your skin can turn really hard and dark. That's the skin dying and the tissue in your skin dying. You may lose it. So be very careful. When do you see a doctor? See a doctor if you have really signs of superficial or deep frostbite. If you get a fever, if there's any kind of pain or redness or swelling. And if you're out in the cold and you start to feel hypothermic, what is hypothermia? That's when your body cannot produce enough heat. You're losing more heat than your body's producing. So some of the symptoms of that: slurred speech, drowsiness, or dizziness. So until help arrives, make sure you protect your your affected areas of frostbite, don't walk on frostbitten feet and reduce the pain or swelling once you get in at home with some ibuprofen. Well, how do you prevent frostbite? Well, you limit your exposure to going outdoors. Dress in layers. Wear mittens and not gloves, so you can make a fist inside the mittens. Wear socks with inlets. And if you can, try to get some heat, some hand and feet warmers. Make sure they fit in your boots. Watch for signs of frostbite. Plan ahead. Don't drink alcohol, because alcohol, that really, you lose heat faster in the cold. And stay hydrated and keep moving. That'll keep the blood flowing. So, and especially watch out for your elderly people. Check up on them during the cold times. And if you have next week, be careful, because they're going to be walking to school and waiting for the bus stop. So really watch those temperatures. Tune into the Captain Mike segment to watch your weather, or your local weather forecaster, whoever your favorite one is. Hopefully it's me. And make sure you pay attention and stay warm, stay dry, stay safe. And with that, going back to you, Sina.
All right, thank you, my brother. As always, we are grateful. But before you go, though, I know things are picking up with the airline industry. Tell us how it's doing, especially your company, United.
Well, as of yesterday, the numbers are somewhat ticking up because of the holiday, but we're still lower. Now, we had about 912,000 people. This time last year, we had 2,400,000 or so, so about 37% of the amount of passengers this year as we had last year. So we're slowly getting there. Like you said, maybe by the summer we can take a deep breath, but now, like everything else, it's
all right.
Recover.
Okay. All right, my brother. Thank you. As always, we are looking forward to seeing you next week. Be safe out there.
Wear those masks.
Hey, now before you go, you mentioned Accra House of Folk beat Ashanti Goldfields. That is my favorite team in Ghana. That I'm a fanatic of Accra House of Folk. All right. So,
I knew that.
Oh, how did you know? Well, we have a nickname called Phobia. So we'll talk about that later.
Oh, yeah.
All right, my brother. Take care.
See you next week.
All right, straight up. All right, that was Captain Mike. We are grateful for his service, his dedication to our community. Week in, week out, he comes to give us this wonderful tidbits, and so we are very, very thankful to him. Well, we want to go to our guests. Looks like we have, we do have Dr. Tunde and Dr. Michelle from Healthy Place Botanicals, and they're going to be adding to the discussion this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I will not waste no more time since we already passed it. You're watching this show again on MyStar Radio out there in Washington, D.C. It is a Pan-African radio station for the discerning listener. This is the Progressive Mind Show. I'm your host, Alinko. Welcome again, and we want to talk about our journey with the virus so far, navigating through it. Now, our guest representing Spain, this evening what we want to do also is try to see, trying to get updates of how the virus has affected folks in other parts of the world. So we have our brother from Spain, KOJOBA. He is a multi-potentialite and also an independent artist. He has been on the show before. We did a great one the other time. My brother, you're welcome to the Progressive Mind Show again.
Thank you very much, Alinko.
Excellent. And then next to him is Rain Truth. Rain Truth is a celebrity chef in Chicago. She's also a veganpreneur. She would have to explain what a veganpreneur is, and a veganpreneur with the Cultured Vegan company in Chicago. Rain Truth, this is the first time you'll be on the show. You're welcome to the Progressive Minds. Okay, looks like I had you on mute, but I can hear you now. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Thank you. Oh. Yes, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. So a veganpreneur is all of the businesses that I have are based around veganism. Okay. So serial entrepreneur, but with the focus on veganism.
Okay, so that was Rain Truth. Michelle Reed is a system analyst in Cayman Islands. She'll be representing the Caribbean stride. Hopefully, she can give us some updates and statistics regarding how Corona has been dealing with folks over there, or rather, how people have been dealing with Corona over there. Michelle, Miss Michelle Reed, you're welcome to the Progressive Minds.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And lastly, we have, no, not lastly, we do have my brother, Dr. Michael ANIM ADDO. Dr. Michael ANIM ADDO is a teacher at HARBIN Engineering University in China. He's also the chairman for the Ghanaian community. The Ghanaian community, also a president of NUGS. He also owns his own recording label, recording studio in China. My brother has been doing, even though he's Ghanaian, he's established himself in China and he's doing very well. Brother Mike.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Great.
Nice to be here. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. And I need you to step back a little bit so that if you can step back a little bit, there you go. That way we can see. So I know Tunde, Dr. Tunde and Dr. Michelle, are we, can you hear us? Okay, Dr. Tunde and Dr. Michelle, can you hear us?
Hello.
Okay. Yes, can you hear us? Good.
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you, but
okay.
the phone out.
Okay. You're welcome to the
use my phone.
Okay. Well, do what you have to do so we can get you guys on, but we can hear you. So let's try and get to the discussion this evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you a general welcome to the platform. This is where we engage the community in discussing issues that matter to our community. Can we have maybe a historical context to what has plagued our society for major part of this year? Maybe, I don't know if Dr. Michael ANIM or Rain Truth, KOJOBA, any of you can take it, right? We know that from research or from studies, every 100 years, a plague of this or a virus of this sort, a pandemic of this sort hits our society, and so maybe can you all help us walk through it? What has happened in the past, what we currently have, and how dangerous maybe this is compared to the others. If you're on the same level, that's fine. But maybe let's get a little historical context to this. I don't know who would like to take this question first. Dr. Mike, Michelle, Rain, KOJOBA, who would like to respond to this historical context when it comes to viruses hitting our society every so often? I mean, after every 100 years. Okay, so can you all hear me? Okay. Okay, so you, KOJOBA, do you want to respond to that?
Well, I can only say a few words, not necessarily giving out, timelines and all of that. But I know that we on this planet, we are beings that evolve, and so it is normal that our actions causes certain things to happen per particular time in our lifetime, and we have come to a time that there is a big revolution going on, worldwide, and this is let's say an incident or a time that we have to go through to evolve onto another stage of our existence here on this planet.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my perspective.
That's your perspective. Okay. Yeah. Anybody wants to share his perspective regarding the historical context when it comes to pandemics and viruses, hitting the human race? Okay. Well, let's try to see how Dr. Tunde and Dr. Michelle, can you all hear me? All right. We can get them back on here. Now, let's try to get updates, okay? Dr. Michael, you all the way in China, can you tell us how that region have dealt with the pandemic so far? Give us an overview of how things have been in China and in that Asian community.
Well,
Can you hear me, Dr. Mike? Okay,
Yeah.
whilst yeah, go ahead. If you can hear me, go ahead. Okay, whilst we're waiting on Dr. Mike, can Michelle, can you tell us?
Yes, I can hear you. I can.
Okay,
Can you
go
come
ahead
again, please?
So I was asking, can you tell us, give us an overview of how the pandemic, how the situation with the pandemic on in China, and how that part of the world have been able to deal with it as of now. Okay, he's having difficulties hearing me, and so would Michelle Reed, can you respond to that? Giving us what has been going on in the Cayman Islands, and then also in the Caribbean in general.
Well, according to for the Cayman Islands, if I'm reading from the Pan American Health Organization's website, which was recently updated yesterday, but our statistics are in the Cayman Islands, that is, we've only had 2 deaths since the coronavirus, and we've had over 51,000 tests done. And currently we have, I think, just 15 active cases right now.
Okay.
And we have very strict, we had like very strict measures and very, a more robust system of quarantining and so on. So we've been out of lockdown since, say, May, and we have not had any community transmission until we reopened the borders in October, and we started having flights coming back. So the only positives are travelers. We haven't had community transmission, and anyone who comes back as a traveler has to quarantine for 14 days. And according to the government website, also, it provides all this information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know about how it has affected the other Caribbean communities?
Well, yes, Jamaica, they had instituted a lockdown just like everyone else, but they opened up the borders, they let in travelers, and it is a little out of hand now. They've been considering, well, they aren't considering really a lockdown, but they are trying to see how they can stem the spread now, because it's pretty significant at this point.
Okay, thank you so much for helping with that. Maybe we'll come back for some more maybe the details. KOJOBA, Dr. Mike, can you hear me now? Okay, please go ahead with your submission if you may.
Okay, so we all know that the virus started from China. All right, I'm in a different city, so I'm in a different province, and it didn't start precisely from where I am, but it started in Wuhan. And you know, in China, rules and regulations are pretty different from the western part of the world. Here, basically, they are just told what to do, and then no one would have to challenge whatever the government says or the officials say. So when the virus started, it was pretty tough here. I pretty remember that, like my whole university, okay? So we had to stay indoors. We stayed in the same room, like this room right now. We stayed in this room from January, because the lockdown in Harbin started from January. So we stayed in the room January, February, March, April, May, June, July. And through that time, we were not allowed to even go to the next door. I mean, to even talk to your neighbor. So you had to stay in the room for such a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So it was pretty strict, because it was very difficult that time. And you know, where I am, I'm in the coldest city in China. So there was nothing to do. So then it came with the anxiety and the fear, and then you had no one to talk to. So the lucky ones were the ones with the families. This is just the first part. I'm coming now. Right now, what is happening now in China? The whole of China, maybe I would say we have some few cases, and it's in the south, like it's in the southern part. Recently, some few cases were recorded in Shanghai and also Beijing, and we also had some from Shandong. That is all from the southern part of China, and there were not so many. So anytime this situation is happening, the government will be very fast to make a test. You know, they'll take the acidic test for the whole city or the whole province. So in case in Harbin they find out they have 4 or 5 people having the virus, then they will test the whole city and see how many people. They will start the track down, see where these people were, who they met, which shops they went to, or who they spoke to.
Yeah,
they have to make a research.
All right. So basically,
on all of those people.
Right.
Sorry?
No, thank you. I wanted to go. I'll come back to that. Now, how long have you lived in China?
Okay. And this is my 12th year.
Okay. And you have family and all of that in China, right?
Yes, we are all here. Okay. So my wife is a Chinese.
Okay. And so how was it difficult for you to transition from Ghana into the Chinese community or into the town that you're living in?
It was because, as you know, Ghana, like the temperature in Ghana is pretty hot, and then where I came to in China is the coldest city in China. So right now, if I have to show you the camera outside, it's snow everywhere, and it can get up to like let's say very cold at like 35 degrees minus.
Okay.
Minus 35 degrees.
Okay.
So when I came here, it wasn't that easy for me. And then with the language, I couldn't speak Chinese too.
Right.
So that was where the challenges were.
Right. And how about the social integration, where you discriminated against because you're a Black person or an African and all of that? Did you have to go through that?
Not really. The whole thing is, if you don't understand the language at the beginning, you don't find yourself in all these kind of, situations. But the moment you start getting to know the language, you being able to understand the language properly, this is where you realize that there might be this sort, or there is. Right now, you can say yes, like 10 to 15%. I mean, you get to meet people like that.
Okay.
Yes, but the majority of the people are okay. Yes, they are not very discriminative.
Excellent. Yeah. So you being, I'll come back to you again. You being the Ghanaian, the president of the Ghanaian community, is very important that I ask you a few questions. But Rain, you and I in Chicago, he's talking about cold in China. We know what he's talking about, and we have dealt with. Unfortunately, we get into the cold season now. From April up until now, it wasn't that cold. Your view, or your view on how we have braced through the pandemic up until now, I'll say from the United States perspective.
Now,
from the U.S. perspective, your view on how we have braced through the pandemic up until now.
We haven't done a good job, in my personal opinion. I think that's why we kind of go back and forth between being locked down and then being able to come back out. Now we're back locked down again as of last Friday. I think that we've had so many people that have been rebelling against the restrictions and guidelines that the CDC and the states have tried to mandate. I think it's caused a lot of confusion, and it hasn't allowed us to really get to the root of trying to discover how we can help fight this, really, because, people are not on the same page. So it's kind of hard to come together and find a way to beat this if we're not on the same page or even trying to be on the same page.
If you say we haven't done well, are you speaking from the perspective of regular folks, from the people, or government?
I'm definitely speaking from a average, regular, everyday perspective.
Okay. So you're thinking that the everyday people, let's say from from the United States, we did not necessarily take the pandemic that serious compared to what my brother from China just narrated.
Especially in Chicago, no, definitely not. If we look at kind of how even the parties and the police being involved on numerous different occasions, because people were like blatantly posting things to show that they didn't care and that they were not really going to abide by the rules and regulations that were set forth. So.
One thing that my brother in China said, Dr. Mike said, was that his government had made sure that people were literally locked in their room where you couldn't even talk to your next door neighbor. Mm-hmm. So that the government doing that forced people to basically comply. Maybe had the government not done that, maybe they also would have been, a little careless with the virus. So do you think that in our case, maybe the government could have enforced more stricter, I would say government, but do you think that officials could have enforced a little more stricter lockdown rules, or you think they did the right thing? We just were not, it was the people that were not responsible.
Well, I actually do think that they could have locked down a lot more because, you think about it, like places like the chains, Walmart and grocery stores, there was really no, you're saying don't have this many people here, but in Walmart, I can go in Walmart and there's 100 people there. So right. I do think that there should have been more restrictions when it comes to like making them do more curbside pickups or, shopping online, offering those other options. But I think people were banking on the fact of being essential businesses. So I think a lot of companies were like, hey, we're essential. We need to still be able to function. So.
Okay. And you're right about parties, because I saw a lot of parties in Chicago. I live on the south side of Chicago, and there was a lot of those. As soon as we had a little bit of wiggle room, everybody was out. Even when we were on lockdown, we were still moving about. So as a people, I think we also have to take some responsibilities on how we have been trying to deal with the virus. Let's try and get Dr. Tunde and Michelle in. If I mute you, is because I'm getting feedback and I'm not sure who the feedback is coming from. So if you're muted, that's the only reason why. I definitely make sure that you are muted before you speak. So Dr. Tunde and Michelle, you are in different. Dr. Tunde is a medical professor. Before I know that I wanted to get what your professions were, I couldn't do that. So we'll come back to that, and so we can do a proper introduction. Because of the late start of the show, we couldn't do that, but we'll come back to, so you all can tell us what you're into, what your organization is, and so forth. So our audience can get to understand you, can get to know you better. You're still watching the Progressive Mind Show, and we are talking about dealing with the virus, how we've coped with it so far, and how we can navigate through it. And we're talking to my guest here from Michelle from CAYMEN, Dr. ANIM from all the way from China. KOJOBA is from Spain, representing Europe. Rain Truth is from Chicago. And we have Dr. Tunde, Dr. Michelle. Dr. Michelle and Dr. Tunde, can you hear us real good? Looks like we're having issues with your sound. We cannot hear you. Okay. Whilst they try to figure that out, let's start with Michelle Reed. Michelle Reed, you were a systems analyst in Cayman Islands. Briefly, tell us who you are, apart from you being a system analyst. Who is Michelle Reed?
Well, I have worked mostly in health systems in Jamaica, in the Cayman Islands, and for a year in the United States.
Okay.
So I have worked closely with people who work closely with testing and patients and all of that. Yeah, we haven't had many cases here in the Cayman Islands, so we've sort of been in a bubble, so to speak, because we went into lockdown pretty quickly and for a significant period of time, and slowly, like very slowly, opened up certain areas. And then when those areas were okay and we didn't have any more cases, then we opened another area. Then if there were no more cases, then we opened another area. And masks were mandatory across the board.
Got it.
Even at the hospitals now, and we don't have cases, masks are still mandatory in hospital settings.
Okay. What's the population of the Cayman Islands? Do you have that on top of your head?
50,000, roughly between 50 and 60,000.
Okay.
But we had a significant around 3,000 to 5,000 people leave the island because of the pandemic. Because a lot of businesses had, especially the tourism business, which was just shut down completely. And half the population are work permit holders, so they come from other countries to work in the Cayman Islands. And if there's no work for them, they can't earn a living, so they go back home.
Okay.
So we lost about 3,000 to 5,000 people who left the island.
All right, great. KOJOBA, tell us who KOJOBA, I mean, apart from you being a multi-potentialite, right? That's what it is. I always jumble with that word. It's too much of a big English word for me, so.
Yeah. So basically, I am an independent artist.
Okay.
And as in a musician, and also a multi-potential. I juggle a few things. I wouldn't say a lot of things, but I juggle a few things. Over here in Spain, I work as an engineer in the metal field, and well, I would say not a pro engineer. I'll say I work. I
got you.
In the engineering field. The metal industry, yeah. So yeah, that's.
And I know you have a few
to start with
songs out there. I would have actually maybe during the show I'll play some music. I know you've done a few tracks with some Spanish guys back in Spain. So kudos to you. Congratulations on what you've done so far. Would you? I know. I saw you. I think at one of your videos you were singing in Chi or playing this reggae song, and a whole bunch of, folks, Hispanics. I'm like, this people don't understand a thing he's saying, but they were jumping to the sound and throwing the fist in the air. So I love that.
That's the energy.
I love the energy. I'll see if I can find the video. But give us a brief breakdown on how things is going with the pandemic in the European, that part of the world, Spain, Germany, France, Portugal. And I know you've traveled around all those areas, so go ahead.
Yeah. So as we spoke the last time, I have traveled extensively. From that time till now.
Yeah.
I've been to a couple of European countries, and even from the US before I got here into Europe. And comparing Europe to the US, you see Europe is under control.
Okay.
Because the European Commission and the European Union as a body, they have been able to control this region.
Okay.
And Spain as a country, we all know how the numbers went before summer, and so as of now there are a lot of regulations. It's a whole lot that is being put in place to control movements and spreading the virus.
What would you say is the situation like? So you told us about Spain, like France, Germany, Portugal, in the other parts of this in the European region. How is the virus How are people containing the virus, dealing with it?
Okay, so I went by road and came back by flight. And what I realized was, as you move up north from Spain to France to Belgium to the Netherlands, you realize that the more you move up is the more rules and regulations there are, the more provisions that has been made to control the, the virus. And that was it. That was before summer. And that was during summer, before and during summer. And now, with this second wave, we are hearing that France, for example, they put a lot of restrictions on the country, to control it, because then France was, going up in numbers. France, Germany, they were going up in numbers, even more than Spain and Italy. And now we understand that, there are measures that have been put in place by the European Commission, and like I say, everything is under control. Later on the show, I'll be giving out some stats on that.
Okay, good to know that you have some stats for us. And if we can see, let's see if we can get Dr. Tunde and Dr. Michelle. Is everything okay now? Can you hear us? Okay, looks like you can hear us, but we are not able to hear you. Okay, so that is the unfortunate thing. We cannot hear you, and yeah, and it looks like they can hear us. Let's see if Dr. Mike, what do you think that the Asians, apart from locking down, what are some of the measures that do you think that the government took? And let's not only zero in on Asia. If you have knowledge about Korea and Japan and those other areas, what they did, please help us understand. What other measures, apart from embarking on strict lockdown measures, what did they do differently, or what did they do that you think was able that enabled them to curb down? First of all, do we have a zero coronavirus case in China as we speak?
No.
Okay.
No, there isn't. Previously, there was. That was during September, and it started from October, then November. Yes, that's where we are right now, and it's because obviously it's getting colder, so then there might be some few cases, and according to the news, it was said that these were imported.
Right.
It came from an imported, fishes and seafoods and stuff. I mean, that was the reason, but over here things are not very transparent, like in the Western, like in the States, or things are not given according to the way they give you the information according to the way they want it to look like, so we can assume that that is the reason. Yes. So going back to your question,
we were also told, before you continue, we were also told that the Chinese economy was up and running and everything was fine and is back. Is everything back? Have they opened up the economy where people are going back to, people are in work, and the economy is back and up and running? Is that what it is?
No doubt, that's true. Everybody's working right now. They even started going to work during, I think, from May, and it wasn't very okay here. It was still intense, and then they started working. Right now, if you come to China, everything is fine. People even move outside without a nose mask, though it is strict. But if you go outside, like to the towns, and you go in town, you go to the shops, stuff, out of every 10 people, you see 7 with a nose mask and 3 without nose mask, and they are still practicing social distance. And most of the time, Chinese like to eat together. So if you go to the restaurants and stuff, looking at their population, they have some measures like they have some spacing, like the tables are not very close. And then if you go to the cinemas, you can eat like popcorns or chips or anything. They still have some social distancing measures where they have to sit like every 2 meters on each chair. And apart from that, things are okay. Like me right now, if I have to go outside the university, I have to apply, tell them the reason why I'm going out, where I'm going to, what I'm going to do, and then when I'm coming back. And then it's going to go through a few, you know, like go through a few hands, like your staff, the leaders. They have to agree to where you are going or your request before you can be able to do so. So even yesterday, I wanted to go out to buy some stuff, and they declined my request. So it's not as simple as that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, during it's 8 minutes to 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Central Time. When after 7 p.m., we will want to talk about how we can navigate through this for the few months that is ahead of us, in terms of keeping our immune system and keeping healthy and all of that. Whatever we have to do, we try and discuss that. And that is where, and I know Rain, you do a lot in this space, and so and I know Dr. Michelle and Dr. Tunde was going to help us with that too, but unfortunately things are not working well on their end. But we'll try and see if we can make it happen. And so, but Rain, before we hit 7 p.m., you've heard what KOJOBA was saying regarding how the Europeans have been handling and what is going on. Of course, it's not it's not like we know everything. He's going to give us some stats, but for you, what do you think that we can do better now that we are in a second lockdown? Technically, basically, we're in a second lockdown, at least in the state of Illinois. What can, as individuals, Thanksgiving is here. Actually, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. What would you say that that we ought to be doing right now to basically try and keep ourselves safe from now till the end of the year?
I think it's really about discipline and just kind of understanding that the sacrifice now is not forever, So if we sacrifice now, well, people consider it sacrificing, but just restricting ourselves from, being out in the element, inviting people over, for me, and just based on people that I've talked to and clients of mine, people have been getting lonely. So they kind of put that as the restrictions that we have aside because they need human interaction. They need, they want that. Some people say it's mental health, but it helps them with mental health. But I feel like if we really take the time to really focus on our own households, not go out, focus on trying to really heal from inside the home, I think that it would really help, because, all the people who said that it didn't matter, now, people were getting comfortable and now we're back in again. So
now,
just following the rules, following the rules, even outside of the mask.
Beyond the mask, outside the mask, follow the rules. I gave everybody the chance to tell us what you do, except I think you and Dr. Mike. So I'm going to take the opportunity to let you tell us, who you are. I know this was supposed to have done in the beginning, but we're still here. So let us know, let our audience know who Rain Truth is, being a veganpreneur and all of that. That would be good if you can help me with that. Please go ahead.
Okay. So I am Rain Truth. I am a vegan chef, executive chef, owner of a full service catering company. I've been in business for 24 years. I focus on plant-based living, helping people that have food allergies, high blood pressure, obesity, and I focus on global cuisine. And I'm also a Serve Safe instructor, so I teach food safety management to people in the food service professional industry. And I also have a culinary program for children. I'm really incorporating, showing children how to find that passion and that love and that pride in creating things that are healthy for themselves, just reintroducing that, because it has been a lost art that our children don't get to explore or be exposed to. So that's kind of what I do. And I also founded a couple fests. I have my hand in kind of a lot of things, but I love what I do. And I love helping our people really get back to that natural way of living, you know, like as life has come and people are getting busier and busier, a lot of times our health is the thing that is falls on the wayside. You know, we lack taking care of ourselves. So that's kind of where I come in at.
Great. Now we have, thank you for sharing that with us. Dr. Mike, I don't know if you if you can hear us good.
Yes, I can.
Okay. Would like you also to tell us, before we get to the top of the hour, tell us, apart from, you mentioned that, yeah, you're married and, you know, with family in Harbin in China. We also know that you have a soccer team and all of that. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, so I basically grew up in Ghana. After my high school, I worked a little bit. I went to Accra Academy, and when I finished, I helped my sister with some few things. But that time, I was very much into sound engineering, so I learned a little bit from Apiatus. That was in 2005, 4 or 5. Then I came to China around 2008. Then when I came, I started my education. I did my bachelor's all the way to the PhD, and I was specialized in mechanical engineering, but my field was composite material. So after that, I became a lecturer in this university. And outside that, I am also into sports because I'm the record holder for 100 meters and 200 meters for my university and for the Heilongjiang province as well.
Okay, we need.
Aside that, I also do.
Can you step back a little bit? Can you step back a little bit from your camera?
Okay.
There you go.
Is it okay?
Go ahead. Yes.
Yes, and also I'm into sound engineering. I made a song during the coronavirus. I made a song for China. So I got some representative from few countries to create an awareness for this song, and the impact was good. The song was very popular, so I had an award from Asia MTN. This is one of them. I got it from them, like MTV Asia.
Okay.
And also me and some friends, I mean some very popular guys in China from Ghana. We also made a song for Ghanaians, and the song was it was about coronavirus. We also spoke about how to take measures since the virus started from here. We spoke to the Ghana ambassador to China, and then he encouraged us to make a song for Ghana. So I don't know whether you heard about the song that time, but it was okay. It wasn't very popular, but it also helped a lot. Besides that, I'm very normal. I'm a simple guy working here and also taking care of a group of Ghanaians, not just Ghanaians as well, because I was also in charge of foreigners because we had a community with more than 5,000 foreigners here, and I was their leader. So I also help them if we have new people coming from other places. We have a group of people. We go to the airport to pick them up. We also assist them in getting used to the environment because some of them can speak Chinese. And as you know, if you don't speak Chinese, it's something else because not everybody speaks English around here. So if you're new and you come here, you might need to be assisted. And some people yourself wondering because they don't have country mates here and stuff. So then we go there to help them and assist them to get used to the society and blend in properly. So that's me. Yeah.
That's very beautiful. That's very beautiful. If you say foreigners, are you talking about African immigrants?
Yes, not just African immigrants, also from all over the world.
Okay.
Because when I came here, it was pretty early. I came here in the time of Beijing Olympic Games. And during that time, if you go outside, it's very hard for you to see any foreigner outside. So I would say I was one of the first foreigners to come to Harbin in terms of Africans,
right.
like African immigrants. There were only Russians because Harbin only shares the border with Russia. So the only foreigners that were available at that time were only Russians, and even till now, there are lots of them. So if you come to Harbin, the architecture and everything is designed. It has an European style of design. So when I say foreigners, not just Africans, but all sorts of foreigners from Europe, from America. Right now, if you go outside, you see a lot of foreigners. But when I came here, it wasn't like that. So there've been improvements. Even in my university, I was the fifth foreigner to be in this school. As I talk right now, we have more than 2,000 foreign students here.
Wow, wow. So you definitely a trailblazer in a lot of things. You also so you set up your record label there. You make music. You sing in Mandarin or English?
Yes, actually, I was the first foreigner to do a rap in Mandarin.
Oh my God!
And it was on TV and stuff. Yeah.
Can you give us one line of your rap in Mandarin? That would be nice. We would like to hear it.
Yeah, why not? Okay, so it's a story I wrote. I'm going to explain to you what the meaning is. Okay, so this is how it goes. So Limbania wala ida wujongo nega shoho ayashama dobu huisho ayu wada maya wachaye de fanti shishi we shamaza mashona we yo it's a wage mama da wa washa mama waya we dia taso we sha she don't went tai na la wa she busia chi mama shwa za mabana wada mama shwa ni she igananda biya fanti dien chi sha chi du li shishi ayi maya we don't say wada de bu fanti putin the team putin this year putin the do wada jimbu shanza henda obujin huisho putin wa waya huisho dombe wa biosho pia pia da kanganda kansha. Yeah, so this is a few one. I just said I came to China 2008, and then that time,
bro, you don't even have to explain, man.
Yeah,
the fact that you went through all of that without breathing, bravo. I'll give you one more time. Yo,
no, I speak the Chinese, bro. I can speak Chinese.
That is powerful. That is powerful. I think that my next goal in life is to be able to rap like that in Mandarin. On that note, we will take a short break. When we come back, Progressive Minds show continues. We are talking, navigating through the pandemic and how we've come so far, our journey with the coronavirus. We shall be right back on that coronavirus rap or pandemic rap. Let's take a short clip off of that. When we come back, we shall continue. Stay tuned.
Pause a minute for today. Wash your hands clean and pray. Global epidemic day. Corona, people dying every day. Corona, it be virus. Mania, funny serious. Corona, yeah virus. Echewa, you go lost. Wash your hand daily with running water and don't stop. Keep away from non-farm meetings and do something, bro. Pray for your enemy, pray for your family, pray for your country, yeah. Don't forget to keep clean with hand sanitizer. Pause a minute for today. Wash your hand clean and pray. Global epidemic day. Corona, people dying every day. Corona, it be virus. Mania, funny serious. Corona, yeah virus. Echewa, we go lost. China, Japan, man down. Italy, UK, man down. United States locked down. What now? Pause a minute for today. Wash your hands clean and pray. Global epidemic day. Corona, people dying every day. Corona, it be virus. Mania, funny serious. Corona, yeah virus. Echewa, we go lost. Pause a minute for today. Wash your hands clean and pray. Global epidemic day. Corona, people dying every day. Corona, it be virus. Mania, funny serious. Corona, yeah virus. Echewa, we go lost.
Perfect.
Welcome back. This is the Progressive Mind Show. I'm your host, Alinko. We're talking about our journey with the virus, navigating through it. Please share the feed whilst you're watching on Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, help share it as well. If you want to call into this show to contribute or ask a question, the number is 815-277-5047. 815-277-5047. And the email is info.progressiveminds@gmail.com. If you want to email us for any reason, please go ahead and do so with that. And also go on our website, theprogressivemindshow.com, and help to support and sustain this show is theprogressivemindshow.com, www.theprogressivemindshow.com. Your contributions go a long way to helping us in what we're doing here. This evening we have great guests around the world who are helping to understand how our race is Black folks, Africans have been able to, how we have been dealing with the virus so far. We still have Dr. Michelle and Dr. Tunde and Michelle on the line. And even though we're having difficulties, we're trying to see if we can get them on the phone to introduce themselves, tell us how we can stay healthy in this trying times. Dr. Tunde, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, so Dr. Tunde, please tell us a little bit about who Dr. Tunde is and why the conversation of keeping our health very, very why has it been a very critical conversation to have in this time more than ever?
Yes, my name is Tunde. I'm a physician. Well, I lean more towards educational. I pretty much teach and I train and I instruct. Well, this is pretty much everything about the understanding of medicine. Now, it is very important to know certain information about how to really keep yourself safe by this time, more so than ever, because, this situation here is deadly.
Can everybody hear him?
As we all know.
Can everybody hear him?
Yes, but it's low.
Super low.
The sound is pretty low.
Okay. Yeah. Is it better now, guys?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. No. Can you all hear him, guys? So. Okay. Okay. You don't have to hold that phone. Just put the phone down, and then just speak. Maybe that would be better. So we're not getting. Okay. You can continue, Dr. Tunde. Let's see if it's good now.
Is it okay now?
Is it better? Okay. All right. Go ahead.
All right. So this particular virus has some peculiarities to it that needs a very peculiar kind of intervention. It causes a bunch of problems, inflammation with mucus, production and clot formation and all that stuff. So now what we will personally advise that people do is to mitigate, like to really, find means of being able to stop this virus, from, causing you any infection, is to address those major areas that have to do with inflammation, mucus formation, as well as blood clots. Inflammation could actually be mitigated, controlled by some form of anti-inflammatory. And, one of those is omega-3 is very, very important, because if you have the right type of oil or fatty acids, your and practicing some mild, more, it's another form of inflammatory, medications that, it's not really a medication because everything we're talking about is pretty much of natural origin. That's about inflammation, and you find the nano silver and pretty much anything that's, is good enough to help to boost your immune system would also help. You have all kinds of antioxidants, like, any food substances containing vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin C. Those, they really help in, helping to resolve on possible infection, and even those who are already infected, it could help them to cure whatever infections that they have.
Okay.
In terms of the blood clots, you have to think in terms of anything that will help to thin your blood. Most especially you have the Parkinson's blood, as well as you have stuff like the garlic. You'll be surprised. Garlic is a very important substance that can be used to really thin out your blood. Oregano is a spicy form of food types that can also be used. And then you also have the case of anything that is good enough to help you to drive zinc into your system. First of all, you have to have zinc in your system, and something that can help you to drive zinc into the cell. What zinc does is to stop the proliferation of viral particles within the cell before they are released into the environment. So, if you ever heard about the hydroxychloroquine, it does the same thing. Moringa is capable of doing that, and that's very, very important. Moringa has a bunch of therapeutic effects, and for some reasons, is very common. Very common in the West Coast, most especially from Ghana, the country of Ghana. And we already talked about zinc, which stops the virus at the cellular level. Cellular level means within the cell. So it does not allow the virus to multiply. And anything that stops it from multiplying, would not, zinc. You find zinc in moringa. You find zinc in like not garlic, but the ginger. And you have the nuts, cashew nuts, almonds. They all have very high, content of zinc. Zinc is very, very vital. Now, like I said, the hydroxychloroquine, what it does that makes it, a little bit different from the rest of them. And I'm sure you have some of these other, food types that are of natural origin, that can also perform the same function by helping to drive zinc into your cell. Once zinc is inside your cell, then you are sure to be able to stop the viral replication.
Okay, Dr. Tunde, what makes the coronavirus much more dangerous, if I may use that word? Because we know there's a flu, right? And people catch the flu and they are able to recover, with some medications. What makes coronavirus so complicated to the point where once it's in your system, there seems to be no way that you can get help apart from maybe going to the hospital and getting on the ventilator and all of that. I was trying to get someone who had it and had gotten better. First of all, walk us through how people are getting treated. Let's say you catch it and you go to the hospital. How are people being treated? Because I know some people have gotten over it and are doing well with it.
First of all, coronavirus is an RNA virus, and meaning that it's just a single strand. Single strands are more flexible. Any DNA virus, they have double strand. It's like you're talking about something that is thicker. But because RNA viruses are more flexible, they're much easier to mutate. Mutation means the changing of the sequence. And for that reason, then of course, it is called novel. Novel means new virus. So first of all, if you look at the genetic composition, it's such that we humans are not quite used to. And for that reason, it makes it a little bit, a task for us to be able to, mitigate.
Okay.
So on the question of what it does that really makes it, more severe and lethal, is that, it causes hypoxia, meaning it depletes, not really depletes, but it goes into your lung system and causes blood clots to and if there's a blood clot, then that means the circulation of blood that actually carries the oxygen in and out of your system. Apparently it takes oxygen in and you excrete carbon dioxide. All that situation will not be possible. So most people who die as a result of COVID-19 are dying because of hypoxia, meaning they are depleted of oxygen, and without oxygen there's no life.
Okay, so is that what the ventilator comes in? So because it is supposed to be given, what the body is not able to do, the ventilator is supposed to be doing for them, right?
Yes, our lungs only has so much space in it. If there's a lot of a very high surface area of the lung is destroyed, and for some reasons can quite handle gaseous exchange, bringing in oxygen and excreting, expiring carbon dioxide, then it's going to be difficult. It's a lot of people who will just simply die just because most of their lung, tissue can function very well in terms of gaseous exchange. But it's now getting more and more common to have people who survive it by having lung transplantation.
Okay, you said vicious exchange, which is getting air in and out of your body. Is that what that means?
Yes. And,
okay.
And some of those things that you really have to put into perspective to also enhance the functions of your immune system is to provide an alkaline environment.
Okay, doctor. Doctor. I would like to go back to my guest, the other guest, but quickly, how are people recovering? What's the procedure now? What's the protocol now that's being given to people who have gotten COVID and getting over it?
Yeah, that's a very good question. First of all, everything has to do, because this is a viral infection. Viral infection, they cause chronic infection, and chronic infection can only be resolved by your immune system. So if your baseline immune system is not good at the time of infection, you're most likely to have a more severe episode of infection, because your immune system is weakening even at the time
No, 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 Doctor Tunde, Dr. Tunde, whatever you are doing now is affecting the audio. So whatever you were doing before, can you go back to it, because we're not, your sound got distorted.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Guys, can you hear him? Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
With the virus, and how you can actually recover from it. It's actually was said that in the Asian countries where they're talking about vaccine as we are in this country, they're actually talking about how they use all kinds of different holistic stuff to be able to resolve on their
Okay.
effect.
But what I'm trying to get to is currently is, okay, so when people go to the hospital and they have COVID, what is the protocol?
Depending on the individual presentation, if your presentation is such that it's very severe, then we have to provide some kind of ventilation.
Okay.
And then of course sometimes they could also use the different antibody cocktail.
Okay.
Which is a means to provide you personal immunity that will help boost your immune system, because it's like you don't have it, and so they bring it in to help fight the virus and reduce hospitality.
Good. So Dr. Tunde has tried to give us the technical background, a technical understanding of what it is this virus is and how it functions, how it behaves, and possibly what and how people are able to get over it when they catch it. From the doctor's point of view. Of course, there are so many protocols out there. We can't get into all of it, but with the field knowledge that he's given, the in-depth and rich knowledge that he's given us, rich information that he's given us on this background, I would like to go to my other panel who. Some of them are into holistic medicine. Some of the others are into other things. Together, we're going to share some ideas to see how we can brace through this health-wise. One thing that he kept saying that caught my attention is the immune system. And I also read somewhere about the endocaval system or something. Dr. Michelle, what's the name of that thing? Endocannabinoid. Okay. Dr. Michelle, you might have to use Dr. Tunde's phone because we couldn't hear you. But based off the information we've heard, I know who has not spoken in a minute. Rain, this is your field. This is your area of operation. I mean, not in terms of like focusing on healthy eating, right? In strengthening our system. Dr. Michelle does that too, but since her volume is not, we were working with her sound. Can you help us understand how collectively we can begin to aggressively enforce and strengthen our immune system in these times, based off your expertise and your profession?
Yes, absolutely. So as Dr. Tunde was speaking about zinc, that is very important for our bodies, for us to have zinc in our bodies, high vitamin C, elderberry, which is, you might have seen that it has kind of taken over the internet over the past 6 months or so. Everyone's been kind of getting on this elderberry movement, which is a very, very high antioxidant. It's very good at fighting cancer, anti-cancer, anti-inflammation, doing your teas, your ginger, your garlic, also reducing mucus forming foods, high foods with high cholesterol, things that are not allowing you to really perform at your maximum, potential, and staying hydrated. I know one thing that the body needs is oxygen, a lot of oxygen. A lot of disease is formed in bodies that are not oxygenated, like cancer and any type of virus. When you look at it, inflammation is goes hand in hand. And a lot of these viruses cannot live in an oxygenated body. So they need that suffocation to thrive.
With your profession, do you literally when you cook for people, or when functioning in your area of profession, do you teach people literally the essence of the food that you're making for them, or the food that they the food that they're taking? Do you have a teaching component to what you're doing? Basically, is what I'm trying to ask.
Absolutely. I teach it, and I actually do one-on-one, like hands-on classes to show people how to eat healthy and what the foods actually do for them. So not just giving you, hey, this tastes good, eat this, but also this is how this is helping your body. This is
how has the
this is helping
response
your body
been
to thrive.
Pre-COVID and COVID era?
So I'm very blessed. The response to what I've been doing, it's been great. Since COVID, it's been even more great. A lot more people are really looking to take their health, take control back of their health. A lot of more people are eating more healthier, asking more questions, and you see more people. They're learning about sea moss. They're like, "Hey, what does this do? What is this?" And so I'm loving it. I'm actually loving that people are becoming more receptive, and I'm just praying that people stay on that. I don't want, everyone's looking forward to the vaccine, but it's like, okay, we have to still have the balance of, being healthy, watching what we're eating, have that same energy when it comes when the vaccine.
Now that you mentioned the vaccine, Dr. Michelle, can you hear us good? Okay, looks like she's still working out issues. Dr. Michelle, how is your engineering skills coming? Oh,
Can you hear me?
we can hear you. You did very good. We can hear you now.
Okay, good.
You made it happen.
I'm enjoying everything that I'm hearing, and I totally concur. You have to eat whole foods. It's going to provide you with the vitamins and antioxidants that you need. However, because it is a pandemic, you need to have extra support. You have to have extra activity. And this extra activity in your body means that you have to have a very, very powerful substance. And one of those most powerful substances is frankincense. Frankincense is known for helping to liquefy, if you will, the blood in the lungs. The frankincense and myrrh together can help clean the entire nasal system, as well as down your throat and in your lungs. This is the most important area because that's where you're taking in your food and you're exchanging oxygen and taking out carbon dioxide. And that's what aids it. And that's why we keep emphasizing that if you have a concentrated form like we do in our essential oil, that will help to protect you and embolden your immune system really immediately. People start coughing up phlegm that's been blocking them from breathing in a very quick order. That's very, very important.
Is it possible with a mask, if you can, lower it a little bit? There you go, because we're already having issues with the sound, so that will help us a lot. Yes, continue, please.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's just the regulation here that we're supposed to keep the mask on, so I'll keep it low as long as I can.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Is that better?
Oh man, it's working.
Okay, good. So, frankincense and myrrh, those are not foods that the chef would choose in her recipes because it's not as pleasing to the palate. But that's why we have the essential oil. But as Dr. Tunde was mentioning, you know, a lot of chefs like to use garlic, right? Garlic is an excellent enzyme builder. So you want to eat a lot of garlic, you want to eat a lot of onions, but a lot of people will have gas in some cases. So you want to drink alkaline water. And that's what Dr. Tunde is saying, that if you drink alkaline water, that's going to help thin out your blood naturally. It's going to help carry the toxins out, and it's going to help to put the oxygen inside your cells more efficiently. So if you don't have an alkaline system, then everything is going to go in the wrong direction, which means you're going to hold on to your toxins. And when you hold on to your toxins, you're not going to have proper bowel movements. You're not going to urinate properly and thoroughly, or the opposite end, you may urinate too much. If you're a male and you have prostate problems, you have blocked arteries, if you will, inside your reproductive system. So you have to stay more alkaline. The frankincense, myrrh, and the alkaline water is premier in doing that. So if you really want to save your life, those are the combinations you need. Now, we happen to have a combination that adds black seed. Now, black seed may not be the very thing that you want to add to a recipe, but you definitely want to add it to your regime in wellness, because the black seed is going to help build up your body. It's going to help build your lungs. It's going to help do everything that your body needs to do. Now, another thing, as you were mentioning about the endocannabinoid system, you do need cannabinoids. Where do you get cannabinoids from? Have you grown any cannabinoids lately in your garden?
Nope.
I can't hear you.
Nope. Zero.
If you haven't grown any cannabinoids in your garden, then perhaps you want to grow some hemp. We have one of the finest strains of hemp in our line of products. We have one that's called RMX2 and RMX3.
Okay.
Those are formulations that help your body to balance itself.
Good. Yeah.
And when you're balanced, you're going to be able to fight off these pathogens, whether it's COVID,
the sound
whether it's
is awesome.
flu.
You have a fantastic sound now. Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
No, the sound is fantastic now. Whatever you did. Yes.
Yes. I think it was all of the equipment between Dr. Tunde and I.
Okay. So too many engineers going on. So now we got it fixed. Good job.
Yeah, but Dr. Tunde is gone. So
okay, now you got it. Yeah, he was a problem. It wasn't you. Now that he's gone, everything is working fine. See?
okay, so the bottom line is we need quick fixes, and quick fixes can be natural like we have. And if you take the nano silver, which many of you may be familiar with and some of you may not, but nano silver, it tastes like nothing. It tastes like water. It feels like water. It looks like water, but it's not water. But guess what? It's going to go deep into your system, and it's going to help mitigate or minimize the inflammation. It's going to help kill the germs, bacteria, fungus, no matter what it is, but without hurting you. It's your cellular system that either is going to work good for you or bad for you. It works bad for you when it's full of pollution and full of all the microbes. Okay, little squiggly things, all kinds of crazy things are in our system. The nano silver can be sprayed up your nose. It can be sprayed on your mask. I don't leave my home without spraying the nano silver on my mask, inside and out.
The sound is not, the sound is we lost a little dip in the sound again.
You know, we're in a very secure building, and I know that has a lot to do with it.
No, I think it's the positioning of the thing, of the microphone, but because it was very fine. The reason why I'm very particular about it is that you were giving us a very important information. Okay, and so I really want the sound to be very clear and crystal. It's been good so far. It could be better. Just give me 1 second. We'll try. Let's try and get to our audience. I mean, viewers on social media. I mean, on Facebook and YouTube. We'll come back to the point you were making. Okay, just hold on 1 second for us. You are still watching the Progressive Mind Show. This evening, we are talking about how far we've come with the virus, okay, our journey with it, and how we can navigate through it until it's completely gone. A lot of people are excited that the vaccine is coming, that the vaccine is here. Some people too are skeptical about it. This evening, we don't have the experts on vaccine. However, we will try to attempt the social argument, the social, I'll say, contention when it comes to the vaccine, right? And see what some people are thinking, how some people feel about it. At the end of the day, we know that we've had vaccines in the past, you know, malaria, polio, measles, and a whole bunch. I was just thinking about them today. This happens to be one of them. And so we'll probably try and see if we can get to that. For those of you who have joined us on Facebook and on YouTube, we are grateful. Please go ahead.
Yellow fever.
Please keep sharing the feed. We have Dorme Kobe Emmanuel watching us. And then Ben Maroon is also here. Reeving Fellows is on here with us. Ben says that was very good. I think that was when Dr. Mike was rapping. Dr. Portia says fantastic rap, my brother. That is a first and good. That is my first Mandarin rap too. So thank you, Dr. Mikado Ado. Okay, that's his picture there. And then Rain says, okay, thank you, Rain, for putting up that comment. Daniel Trotter says, I'm checked in from Milwaukee. Thank you for checking in. Rain has another comment. Okay, yes, it says you watched Progressive Minds and subscribe to it. Thank you so much, Rain. And Dallas, Sharon Tomlinson is watching us from Dallas. Thank you for chiming in. Sharon, please help share the feed. All right, we'll try and come back to Dr. Michelle. Oh, yes. C. Willow is watching from Cayman Islands. Thank you for chiming in, C. Willow. Based on what has been discussed so far, actually, is let me give out the phone lines again. Somebody was asking. It's 815-277-5047. 815-277-5047. If you want to call and share your opinion, or yeah, I got you. If you want to call and share your opinion, that'll be great. So Dr. Michelle is giving us some tidbits on how we can strengthen our immune system. Kojoba, you have your opinion when it comes to how we ought to deal with the virus as Black people. Please share with us.
Most definitely. Thank you, Alinko. And I mean, respect to everybody on the show right now, both my co-guest and everybody watching us from anywhere. You see, my thing is perspective in everything we do, and especially we as Black people, because our perspective has times and over again been attempted to be shifted from what is real, from what as opposed to what is presented to us. So my thing all the time is perspective. You see, this virus, I mean, I'm not saying the virus is not real, it doesn't exist. It does exist, just like any other disease or any other thing we have seen in the past, just like polio, just like HIV/AIDS that was created, which we can argue about, but you know, this one exists too. But is it what it is? Is it what they are telling us it is right now? You know, or it is yet another tool to control us, especially as Black people, which is very, very important for us all to pay attention to. We as Black people, as a Black community. Now, I have a lot of, facts over here. Here in Spain, you are supposed to buy the air that you breathe, okay? In Europe, you're supposed to buy the air that you breathe.
Wait, explain that further. How you?
Yeah, I am explaining that. So you are supposed to buy the air. If you want to breathe fresh air, you have to buy it. In the sense that up until last month, beginning of this month, you could sit in a bar and then you can enjoy fresh air. You find maybe lots of people gathered at a bar. They can sit there freely, enjoy fresh air, and that's the only place you could sit and enjoy fresh air. Either than that, you're supposed to be walking all over in your mask, all right? Or you buy nicotine, you buy tobacco, which is a money maker for the West. Western countries, they gain a lot of money from tobacco, selling of tobacco, because stress is what this system is built on. You understand? And we all know, due to our past as Black people, we are able to endure pressure, stress, and all of that. Caucasians, on the other hand, cannot deal with it. So they buy a lot of tobacco. That is also
that is your opinion, right? Because there's no.
But what that's why I say that is an argument for another day. But what I mean is that the only way you're able to take in fresh air, which has never happened in the history of humanity, is when you're buying. Then you can sit in the front of a bar and enjoy fresh air. Either than that, stay home, open your windows, and you enjoy partial air. All right, that is what I mean by you buy the air that you breathe. Either than that, you're supposed to pay a fine. If you decide not to put on their mask, then you pay a fine of between 100 to 600 euro here in Spain. You understand? But let's put that one on the side. Now we come to all this that my co-guests are talking about, like what's the name, the food and all, the immune system and all of that. These things have existed years and over. Our ancestors have taught us the right way to eat, what to eat, how to eat, when. They have taught us all of that. It's in our history. We already have that. Thanks to Corona again, now we are gaining awareness. Now our parents are going back, our brothers, our sisters, they are going back into history to look for the same plants that we've been living on for so many years. Thanks to Corona, for the first time in our history, our people have gone back. And when you check the stats, it's more Africans digging and bringing out more solutions, more herbs. You understand? Now, if you look in the history of the politics of the United States, this year, this very election, for the first time, see the number of people who have voted to legalize marijuana. How long have we talked about that? How long has the Prophet Bob Marley and so many others before him and after him have talked and
medical
spoken
marijuana
about it? Medical marijuana. But for the first time, for the whole plant is marijuana, the hemp, is marijuana. Yeah. So for the first time in the history of our history, see how people have gained awareness. When you listen to people like Bill Gates and other leaders of other countries talking about vaccines, about Corona, they always come up with, this is why we suggest, this is why we are saying, this is why we, who are they? Who are the we? That's a question we should ask ourselves.
But maybe they're saying they have the money, they have the corporation, they own the corporations that produces the vaccine. They are the world leaders. They, control most of the world economy. So maybe that's what they're referring to.
I love that word, and I love what you just said. They control the economy.
Right.
They control everything.
Yeah.
So it's people who control the economy, people who control society, as the system that has been built for us to live on. These people come up with, what they want us to do. They tell us, they give us statistics.
Okay.
Can you give me just?
Yeah, I'll give you, but I want you said you have some statistics on the issues, numbers, in terms of how Corona is, regarding the status of Corona in Europe. I want you to give us those stats. That way we don't forget, and then you can come back to your point.
Okay, well, as of starting from 5th October, right, when you know they started talking about the revamp of the virus, we had you know, Spain in particular was down in numbers as opposed to Germany and France that were going up. Spain, we had about, now we have recorded, we are going up again, and that's what they say, that we have broken a record. We had broken a record. As of 5th October, for the first time, we exceeded 1,000 deaths per month.
Okay.
368 deaths in 24 hours. That's how bad it is. Now let me go to what's happening right now. I go to the live updates, because with COVID you can never be sure. You give a number right now, the next minute is changed. You know. So we have about 1.59 million cases, 150,000 recovered, 43,668 deaths so far. You know, now what is happening here is that when you pick communities, Spain as a country has been divided into communities. There's a lot of things happening in UK and other parts of Europe, but let me base my stuff on Spain for now. And when you look at a community like Madrid, which is a hotspot, a lot of people traveling into, you know, Spain and other parts of Europe, they you know, they actually get off in Madrid. That's where, you know, you have a lot of tourists, and they have about 343,000 cases, 40,736 recovered, and 11,250 deaths. When you take, when you as of today, yeah, that's just Madrid. So a very important factor is that where I live right now, I live almost on the border of Portugal. From my home to Portugal is about some 25 minutes, and but I live in Spain, and I cannot move from here to the border 25 minutes from here without a permit. There are other areas, even smaller neighborhoods surrounding us. You cannot move there without permits.
So basically what the government is trying to do is to restrict movements, right? Try to with the goal of containing this, right? Now, I didn't mean to interrupt, but because of time, I want to be able to get to a few other things. We'll come back to, you were making a very great point in terms of you know, how we as Black people have to go back to the traditional way of living, or at least believing in some of the things we used to do back then, especially the way we eat and the way we feed, the way we take care of our health. So great point. You also made very important points from your own opinion and your own observation, which you know, which some people can allude to, some may disagree with.
Exactly.
Whatnot, but we maybe with time we can deal with that. We have only a few minutes to wrap the conversation.
Okay, but please, Senna, try come back to me, because I have simplified, you know, a lot of factors into, you know, a few topics, and then we can just, you know, I can just hit on them. It is very important that I put that one out there, because I remember from our last conversation, you know, we spoke about getting the right perspective also.
Okay, I'll come back to it. Dr. Mike, I know you have not spoken in a while, but briefly tell us in a minute, okay, what you think that we should be doing. I mean, based on what you've seen in the Asian community and how the coronavirus has been handled from the government's standpoint, from the locals and all of that, and even with religious people, right? Because religious people tend to do things a little bit differently, you know, because of their religion. What would you say should be the way forward as a people during these few times that we're in? And also, can you update us? Is there a vaccine in China too? I'm sorry.
Already been used.
You were muted.
Yes, the vaccine in China has already been used.
Okay.
And then they started using it, I think, last month. So I heard from the news that they have even imported some to the Brazil and some few places. That's from the news, yeah. And going back to your question, the first part. Well, I think the virus is pretty real. It's not an exaggeration, even though it's not very transparent. In some places, as my brother Kojo said, what looks real on the media doesn't look very real from the inside unless you are there. That's where you can see. For me, I'm going to go straight to the point. If people really want to be conscious and avoid this virus, we have to be disciplined. That's one. China managed to go through this through discipline. The people were very disciplined. Don't do this. Don't do that. You know, from where I come from in Ghana, as you can all attest to what I'm saying, we always do things and then we say, oh, sorry, it won't happen again. We keep on doing it, then we say sorry. But in China, there is no place for sorry. If you do something, you're going to be punished drastically. And they always use people as scapegoats. So if somebody doesn't listen or obey or abide by the rules from the officials, or I would say the government, then you're going to be punished. Second thing is we need a direction or a structure, like they have a direction that everyone follows. That's what I saw. And even it helped all the foreigners here. And I can tell you that no one from Ghana or no one from Africa or no black person in China was affected. It was later that we heard one Cameroonian guy was infected and he got well. He had the fastest recovery rate. It took him just 3 days to recover after the virus. So that was where they started thinking that, hey, what is wrong with these black people? Why are they not getting this virus? And then that's where all this, I think that we should be disciplined. When we should obey what the leaders say. Example, the doctors, what just Dr. Michelle just said right now. They're very important. You need to exercise. You have to practice the social distancing. You need to eat good food. Just avoid unnecessary like group meetings and all those stuff. There are basic things that we should be very mindful of.
Right.
Aside the thinking about the vaccine, all those ones they are important, but we should also be very mindful of how we live our life, because this is not ordinary times, you know.
Okay, you made a great point. Is the vaccine mandated in China? Yes or no?
No, right now they are prioritizing it to people who are traveling, like Chinese people who are going to be traveling, like foreign students, like diplomats, and very important personalities like foreign students, teachers. If like assume right now, if I have to travel to the UK, then I'm going to be prioritized. Like they have to give it to me first, because they think that if you get a vaccine, you go there. One, they are preventing any, you understand, extra
I got you.
Cases, and then also they are helping you and those over there too.
Okay.
So for now, we the common people who are here are not eligible for the vaccine now.
Okay, great. So basically, it's not mandated now because of time. Some of our guests have to take leave of us. So maybe So Chef Rain, can you tell us your opinion with the vaccine again? With the people who say, well, it's not, you know, I mean, for the people who have that conspiracy theory concept of, you know, with regards to the vaccine, and you know what I'm talking about. We're in Chicago. People say we don't want it. Some say we want it. So your opinion on the vaccine, and basically your last words on how we can stay safe and navigate through this.
So the vaccine. So I'm not for the vaccine. I don't vaccinate. My kids aren't vaccinated. So I'm one of those that I'm not gonna take it when it comes.
Have you ever vaccinated, like ever, like flu, polio, tetanus, we call it in Africa, and all of that? You don't, nothing. Okay. Wow. And so, and they have not contracted any of these over the years.
No, I have a 22-year-old, an 18-year-old, and
so what is the
4-year-old. So, you know, I mean, I just do what my ancestors did. You know, I really am heavy on, you know, not waiting until you're sick, but all about being preventative in the things that we do. our day-to-day, reducing the stress, like Brother KOJOBA was saying, just like, you know, because all those things add to illness, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm all about just preventative things, you know, like he said, people are getting back to the things and the herbs and the things that we used to do. And I'm already doing that. I was doing it pre-COVID.
So you basically have been living on eating healthy, right? Cooking the right cooking, you know, making your own meals. And in terms of your family, you have made sure that you fed your kids with stuff that you've made from home and from natural made stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and my father was a gardener, so I learned from the best. He was a master gardener, grew things organically, even before the big organic terminology, you know, became big mainstream. But yeah, I'm blessed. I'm telling you, I really had the upbringing to know how to kind of do those things and be self-sufficient and sustainable.
Excellent. We have Dr. Michelle who would walk us through, but because I know you're gonna leave and you have a lot of information that I want you to be able to back this evening. We're getting this feedback here. Let me see if I can help. Okay, great. Tell us what types of food or ingredients that we should focus on, because I want you to be able to help to drive the message of making our own food, because we speak on this a lot. I mean, we have been, also during this COVID, we've been talking about it, but I think people think maybe I can just cheat once in a while, you know, like in terms of eating the wrong way every now and then, and maybe getting the greens. It's expensive, going to Whole Foods or maybe Trader or whatever to get, you know, those food is expensive. So I might just eat my chicken and eat my turkey and all of that. Can you help us drive home the importance of these things that we are talking about in terms of eating healthy, and what are the ingredients? What are some of these vegetables or ingredients that you would recommend that we should make sure we have in our diet as often as we can?
Yeah, so I'm gonna always go back to ginger, onions, garlic, turmeric is very powerful, cinnamon, oh my goodness, so many, soursop, sea moss, elderberry, honey. I don't eat honey personally, but honey is very powerful. Lemons, limes, citrus items can also help with like clearing out like the mucus and such like things like that. Detoxing cabbage. Cabbage is a very high diuretic food. Cucumbers, a lot of stuff that has zero, you know, a lot of water-based foods to kind of keep your body hydrated and things like that. And chlorophyll. So I do chlorophyll drops, which is basically the extraction of the green veggies, plants, and stuff like that. So basically, you're adding that to your water, starting off in the morning with something warm in your body to kind of like activate, you know, your metabolism. And I mean, there's so many different things that you can do to really like take charge of your health.
Do you advise against meat, or would you say moderately is fine? I mean, or would you advise totally against it?
And so I am vegan. I don't eat meat, but I'm not an extremist. And because I work with a lot of seniors and a lot of people who, you know, I can't tell Mr. Johnson, you know, that's 80 years old, don't eat meat. You know what I mean? Mr. Johnson been eating meat for 80 years. So I'm like, hey, let's just bake it instead of frying it, you know? So I think it's just, you know, it's about meeting people where they are and setting people up for success. A lot of times people want to say, just stop, give it up cold turkey, but it's not realistic, you know? And if you really want to set people up for success, you have to work with people. And a lot of times when I've done that and came from that approach, more of a gentle approach, a non-judgmental approach, and really showing people, not just, oh, you're eating bad, you're eating unhealthy, you're eating meat. Oh, you know, that's not the way to do it. And I've had people that have come back, excuse me, after I've shown them that other way and say, you know what, I did Meatless Monday today. You'd be proud of me, you know? And so that's kind of, so I'm not going to ever say like, you know, some people are like, oh, meat is murder. I mean, you know, go at your pace, you know, make small changes. So,
all right, your last words. And how can people find you if people need advice, or maybe some dietary advice, whatever, please go ahead and provide that for us, and then
Okay.
you can close us too, please. You have to leave.
Okay, yes. So the business is The Cultured Vegan with a D at the end. You can find me Facebook, Instagram, or theculturedvegan.com. I'm always open for consultations or advice if you just have to ask a question or you need resources. I'm like the resource queen. So I can, if I don't know it, I can put you in the direction of someone who does know. But you know, one step at a time. If you want to get me, you can email me at rain@theculturedvegan.com. Or you can contact my brother, Ali. Oh gosh,
Alinco.
So I was getting it. You can contact him to get a hold of me, and also make sure you subscribe to his channel, his show. And I'm grateful to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me on here, and I appreciate it. And thank you to all my partners in this movement. I appreciate you all as well.
Thank you so much. That was Chef Rain Truth. Hopefully, you can contact her for some health dietary tidbits. Chef Lee, the show started a little late, so we might go into 15 minutes into our time today. So it's 8 p.m. Central Time. You're still listening to the Progressive Mind Show. Rain Truth, thank you so much for being on here. We look forward to working with you in the future.
All right, peace.
All right. All right, take it. So now let's try and get a word from Michelle. I know Michelle hasn't spoken in a while. Michelle, what is your take on all of this? You know, again, is the vaccine in the Cayman Islands? Is it in the Caribbeans? What is the conversation regarding the vaccine? And what would you say to how we can navigate through this from now till things are going to die down? This is going to go away, but how should we be conducting ourselves from now on onwards? But of course, touch on the vaccine case, the vaccine conversation too. I'm sorry, you're on mute. So go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You can speak.
Well, my take on it is I've worked in health systems. I work in the pharmaceutical industry, actually. So I follow the science, and vaccines have been around for many years. And as Black people, I know we're skeptical, and because there's been a history of Black people being exploited with the different health systems, vaccinations, that sort of thing. So Black people are skeptical about taking vaccines which promise, immunity from certain diseases. But I can tell you personally, if the vaccine does come out, I will be taking it. And because I just want to get on with my life. I know many people are not.
You are ready to move on.
But yes, I'm ready to move on, and I will be taking the vaccine if and when it does come to the Cayman Islands. But I think what COVID has taught us is that we need to educate ourselves. We need to continue to be proactive about our health and about it's going to be a different way of thinking for all of us, a new way of thinking, a new paradigm. It's a paradigm shift where we just have to know that those things are going to be out there for the future, and we just have to protect ourselves on a daily basis.
I know Dr. Mike, you just spoke. Dr. Michelle, so KOJOBA and Rain touched on going natural. And you also spoke about cannot avoid. I don't think I'm trying hard to get that word correctly, but you can go ahead and help me. Tell us how we can apply this, natural substances in helping our health or strengthening our health, specifically in our immune system, and some of the products that your company deals with and how it can be beneficial to all of us. The volume is super low. The volume is super low.
You were
Good.
saying it pretty well.
Okay.
Cannabinoid,
Endocannabinoid. Yes.
endocannabinoid
Endocannabinoid.
system.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes. I have to pull my phone
That's fine.
closer, so I'm going out of view. I'm sorry. So, so if you embolden or if you increase the capacity for your endocannabinoid system to work more efficiently, then most of the pathogens won't take up residence in your body. You'll be able to break it down and cast it out in most cases. As Dr. Tunde was stating, that this virus is very unique, whereas it only has RNA in it, and it's not the easiest thing to kill. How do you kill something that
Mhm.
you really can't see very well? How do you use that DNA um, based foods when it doesn't have DNA? It has RNA. Well, again, our Heavenly Father has created a garden, and in that garden has all of the answers. I'm not saying never to take any vaccine. I'm not in agreement with most of the vaccines because of the strains that we have. So it's best to have whole foods and whole essential oils. And when I say whole essential oils, that you use oils that have not been tampered with. There are a lot of companies out there that add additives or they take things away. They mostly are not organic. So it's not going to have the same effect. So the frankincense, myrrh, and black seed combination, that healthy place or heal thy place, a play on words, healthy place botanicals, we are one of the leading uh, black-owned companies in the United States that has USDA certified organic essential oils. So one drop of our oil may be the equivalent of an ounce of another company of black seed. So which would you rather? Just take a little drop, or would you have to drink a whole ounce? Well, all of that weighs out. So we want the most efficacious ingredients that's going to have an immediate impact on your system. Now, our systems are made so that every 3 to 4 hours, we have to feed it something. We call it food, but I like to call it nutrients. It's looking for nutrients. So when people say, well, why do I have to take all these vitamins or these supplements? And we're not saying to take vitamins. We are saying supplement your diet with our essential oils, and you can do it on a minimal basis, just a couple of drops a day in most cases, of the frankincense myrrh black seed combination of our nano silver. Our nano silver is very innocuous, meaning it won't hurt anybody at any age. You can give it to a newborn baby. You can put it on their skin, in the eyes, and in case you don't know it, you can get the virus in your eyes, and that's an entry point. You can get it in your nose. So you want to use our nano silver in order to help break down the pathogens that are entering. COVID is not the only pathogen out there. It just happens to be the most aggressive that can kill you the quickest. So you want to have as much protection right now as you can get. And that's why I keep emphasizing that. Then we have one more product called Spice Traders. Spice Traders has a combination of the fruits that are most impressive upon your immune system. And also, you have your tea tree and other essential oils in there, all mixed in one. And you can take it like a hot toddy, like a tea, or you can put it on the bottom of the soles of your feet. And if you have any symptoms at all, any sneezing, any coughing, any blurry eyes, runny nose, you want to take this, a few drops in your water, and I guarantee you, you're going to feel better in a matter of hours. And then
How
if you
How user friendly are your products compared to others? Say the the sanitizer that you have, and the sanitize. I mean the spray that you have for your rooms, that kills germs and all of that, compared to other sprays where because you know they're not necessarily saved for the internal body, the internal organs. You cannot necessarily spray them on your utensils. But the save, I use that save. I literally can spray this on my kitchen and spray it on my spoon, my utensils, and eat with them, and it's super safe. So tell us about that product and your sanitizer, and your hand sanitizer, your hand sanitizer. I actually one time sprayed it, it got into my mouth. I was scared, but it usually, I mean, it's as much is that much user friendly that I didn't have to worry about it.
That's excellent that you gave that testimony, because all of our products are extremely safe. You just don't want to spray anything other than the nano silver in your eyes, because essential oils, they're very active and they stay in place for hours. But you mentioned the safe. The safe is for your hands. It is for the air.
Okay, the volume is going really bad. So here is what we're gonna do. Here is what we're gonna do.
I brought it closer.
Yes, this is fine. So you don't. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just out of focus. So the safe, you use it in the air. You spray the air. You want to spray the air before you sit down in a new environment. You want to spray the air probably every few minutes if you have more than two people walking through, and they'll even start breathing better. You can spray your hands with the safe. You can spray your body with the safe after a shower or a bath. It will last or be effective for at least 4 hours. So if you make a mistake and put it in your mouth, or that is fine. You're not going to hurt at all. Our hand sanitizer. Our hand sanitizer is so efficient that all you have to do is spray once and rub your hands together, and for 4 hours you have protection. When you use those other hand sanitizers that have alcohol and heaven knows what else in there that's burning your skin, breaking down through your dermal layer of your skin, you are poisoning yourself. You are literally taking in alcohol and those other drugs. Alcohol helps take those toxins in deeper into your system. Did you know that? So what you want to do is you want to get away from that. And in case you didn't know it, the alcohol, as soon as it dries, it can no longer kill any germs, only when it's wet. And alcohol dries in a matter of seconds, whereas our oils are going to stay nice and moist for up to 4 hours, and it's giving you that continuous protection. So when you're touching different surfaces, you are still protected, and you're not contaminating those surfaces or those people that you are touching. Okay. So
Yeah.
you
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to give, because of time, I want my brother Kojoba to finish the point that he was going to make, so that we can try and close the conversation this evening. Listeners, it's been at least almost 2 hours now. We'll be talking about our journey with the virus and how we can navigate it. And I hope that you can understand that the conversation has to go this way. We have a lot of information to divulge and things to talk about because of the magnitude of the topic we're discussing. It's the whole pandemic situation, and it's about our health, and it's about how we can do things right, how we can better it, get better our handling and dealing with these hard times. So we really want to appreciate you for indulging us for almost 2 hours now. Those of you on Facebook and on YouTube, but please keep sharing it. We are about to wrap up. Kojoba, tell us, go ahead and complete the point that you were making earlier quickly, and then we will try and take the closing remarks and bring this discussion to an end.
Yeah. Hello, can you
yes,
hear
we can
me?
hear you now.
All right. Well, as we all, we have all heard from our dear, sister. I just want us to look at the philosophical and then the theories and concepts, navigating through this pandemic, and that's my perspective. So I like for us to look at the culture, what cultural shift this pandemic has brought to us as Black people, as a Black community, and you can see that there's a whole new Black revolution and Black awareness. Also, we look at Black businesses. Now we see that a lot of people are coming up with products, with ideas, because we were quarantined and we had to sit down, go deep within us, and think, reason, and then come out with genius ideas, looking around and seeing what other people were doing, Asians, other Western people were doing. Then now Black people stood up and say, okay, now let's develop something for our communities, So I'd like for us to look at that, navigating through. Now we know that we are making a progress, with that. Now spiritually, astrologically, we can all see that there has been a total. It's like our whole world has come to a stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then this is the time that we as Black people need to connect with our ancestors, meditate more, reason more, especially when it comes to the issues of religion, religious, stuff. We should be careful, look within us and see what has really helped us through these times.
Right.
I wouldn't go further with that. Now, when we come to the sciences, we all know, like, now these days, our when you look at 5 years back, okay, things that you could achieve, you would achieve within, let's say, a time frame of 2 years. These days, you do that within 2 weeks or a week. Talk of Amazon, you order something today, the next few minutes or the next day is at your doorstep. We look at Zoom, we look at how, fast things are moving, Black Friday and stuff like that, Asia, Virgin Hyperloop and stuff like that. It's a lot. Due to time, we cannot, hit on all of that. Okay. That shows us that we're moving towards a direction of speed. We live in a time realm. And then that shows us that we are moving in the direction of speed. And so we as Black people also, we need to stop, quit procrastinating. We'll do, and start doing things, start getting things done. All right. And then as we already, you look at labor, I've already touched on that. Then as we spoke of the, our eating habits and all of that, with the vaccines and all of that, I think that if we eat right, whatever that goes into our bodies has been designed in a way that if we eat right, if we do our things right, this body will spit it out. The only thing that I'll urge, our Black brothers, sisters, mothers, everybody to be cautious of is their mentality, their mind. That, even as they get the vaccine, we heard about 5G, they trying to insert chips in us and all of that. The only thing that I can say to, my Black family is that we should be aware, we should be conscious, we should take care of our mentality, our mind, so that you are able to reason even after the vaccine, and then we are not numbed and then consume whatever information or whatever we are getting from anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, great point, my brother. Thank you so much for making those points. Well, it's 8:20 and we have to bring the show to an end this evening. You have been watching the Progressive Mind Show. This is where we build our community by engaging you and I in critical dialogues such as this. I would like our guests, I know I had told them to give us their last words because of the time, but I decided to extend the time. So now that we've come to this point, we would give them the opportunity to give us a closing remark again, so that if they missed anything or if they were not able to make a comment or a statement during the presentation due to time, they should be able to make it now. I know that in the future we will have the opportunity to engage you all again. So let me start from the right and I'll come all the way down. Michelle, it's been great, but please help us. And I know you've said a lot and given us a lot of information this evening. We appreciate your time, but please help us with any comment or remark that you missed or you probably wanted to give earlier so we can bring the discussion to an end.
I think what I just wanted to say is that, here, well, in the Cayman Islands, we are I think a good example of how to a country that has tackled the virus successfully, in that we implemented disciplined measures where we've only had 2 deaths, and those 2 deaths were both visitors. Both came in with the virus,
Okay.
died from it. We have not had any local transmitted deaths from coronavirus. People have had coronavirus, but most of them were asymptomatic and successfully overcame it. I know of people who've had it, been hospitalized, overcame it. But because we put such stringent measures in, wearing masks, social distancing, quarantining for a long period of time, we can go out, go about our business. We don't wear masks. We can have gatherings of 500 people or more, and we are good. So if the United States, I don't want to throw in a shade, would have done that, then they would have been in a better
shape, right? Okay, we would have been in a better shape. Okay, thanks for the shade, though. We appreciate you. Thanks for the shade. We are now. Let's get from. Yeah, I'll come down and I'll come down to my brother, Dr. Mike. I know you've said a lot this evening, but I know there's also a lot of information that you would have loved to give us if we had time. So maybe some things that you missed, please go ahead and share with us as we bring the curtains down on tonight's episode. And I think yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm going to be real. The realer. Thank you. The realer, the better. This virus is pretty complicated, as we all see. Okay, so I won't be. I'm going to be very simple. Prevention is better than cure. If it's preventable, then why do we sit down and wait for the cure? We need to create more awareness. Like this kind of show you are putting on, it's a good show. People need it because, as we know, as much as illiterate we have in the system, there are a lot of illiterates too who don't really know what is really happening. Now, I wouldn't go into consideration, or I wouldn't go deep into saying it doesn't matter where you are. It could be America, it could be the UK. You know, I would say this: China here, people watch TV and they laugh at Americans, they laugh at the British, and then because they think that there are simple measures that they are not taking, as my sister Michelle just said right now, that in where she is right now, they only had 2 deaths, and even most of them are foreigners. And what are the measures that they took? Simple measures like simple measures like nose mask, social distancing, and a lot of things. Nobody wants to go in for the vaccine because it's not very matured enough. I mean, we all have different body types. So how would you know if I take it, I'm going to be good after 2 or 3 years? We need to wait. So I think that we should prevent if we can, like what Dr. Michelle said. We have to eat good food. We should exercise, take our nutrients. We should live a good life, and this is good for us too. We should be clean. Masks shouldn't be used should have been used even before the coronavirus even started. I mean, environmental care, you need this pollution, it's good. So it is reminding human beings to be mindful of how we live our lives too. So we should put in a good habit with this kind of practice, even after this virus
that is a very, very powerful, brilliant point. Dr. Michelle, please help us with your few words that you may have not be able to get out because of the situation, and also how can people find some of your products, and most essentially where and how can people find some of your products in helping us stay healthy during these times?
Yes. One of the things that you mentioned that I needed to take down off of my face for you to hear me better is a silk mask. This silk mask has properties that other masks nowhere else has. Silk is something that is antimicrobial. It is natural. It's from the silkworm. This comes from Cote d'Ivoire. One of our esteemed directors in our company, Healthy Place Botanicals, Sahan, she has orchestrated it so that we can set up manufacturing in Cote d'Ivoire so that these masks can be flown back or imported into the United States and distribute it throughout Africa. Now, why is it important? Because it's mandatory for you to have a mask on most places that you go in the United States now. So if it's mandatory, you want to have the best quality and you want the quality to do something for you. So you don't want to reinfect your skin or your face by your own germs, and you certainly don't want germs penetrating to infect your face. A lot of people have been getting infections on their cheeks, their nose, and everything because they're wearing the other type of mask. So it's important for you to use the right mask and the best mask. So your mask does matter, and you should take the Healthy Place Botanicals or Heal Thy Place Botanicals and look at our catalog. Now you can go to an address of healthyplacebotanicals.com/progressive minds, and you'll find all of our products that are going to be good for you, that will work very, very quickly for you. So if you need that repeated, our host can email you all of the information, and I can help answer questions about the products. I'm one of the specialists. We do have a support that you can call, a support number, but I'll be very happy to take your calls to help you make a better decision.
Give us that number, if you may.
Well, my business number is 312 549 9045. 312 549 9045.
Okay.
And I will answer your questions and direct you to the website where you can make your purchase.
Excellent. Thank you. KOJOBA, please.
Quick one.
Quick one, yes.
Yeah, quick one. So to start with, I have a project coming up next year, early next year. It's called The Project. So I'll urge people to start checking up on me on www.kojoba.com or on my Instagram, Kojoba Official, to, start looking out for that project. There's a lot of, things in there, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in that project. It's going to be a documentary. Any which ways, I'll end by saying that people should just follow rules and regulations everywhere, because laws are made to be obeyed wherever they are set. And that even yesterday, it's 3 a.m. already here. And yesterday I was with a COVID-19 positive family who had just recovered, and I was with them. So it is real. The COVID-19 is real. Also, I would say the fact that COVID-19 exists and that it is real doesn't mean that we should stop asking questions and start, accepting anything that is thrown at us. We should dig deep, dig within ourselves. Our spirituality is very important, and stop watching too much tell-lie vision, because it tells a lie to the man who is holding the vision. That's how I'll end my conversation today.
All right. Well, great, man. I have learned a lot myself this evening. I'm thankful you have been listening and watching the Progressive Mind Show live on Facebook and on YouTube. We were also carried. We've been carrying the show. The platform. Another platform that you have been listening to us on is My Star Radio in Washington D.C. It is a Pan-African radio station for the discerning listener. We get grateful to be coming your way this evening again with our journey with the virus and how we can navigate through it. We navigating through it. How do we navigate through it? We hope that we have been able to do our part in bringing their awareness and talking about some of the things that we need to do. Please keep the conversation going on in your homes. Next week, Wednesday, we will be coming your way with another special topical issue that concerns you and I. Please remember to go on our website, theprogressivemindShow.com, to make a contribution to us. On Cash App, you can send it to SENAALINCO. Look for the $ and then type SENAALINCO and send your contributions to us that way. Also, go on our YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and then hit on the subscribe on YouTube, turn on the notification so that every Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time, when we come your way, you can get our information, get our shows live, and you can share it too. Please keep sharing it. The most important thing is that do not let this conversation stay with you alone. Let's keep it going. This is how we build our community together. To my guest, MICHEAL REID, KOJOBA, MICHEAL REID, all the way in Cayman Islands, system analyst, KOJOBA, independent artist, all the way in Spain, representing the Europe continent. Dr. MICHEAL was with Dr. Tunde, all with the Healthy Place Botanicals. Dr. MICHEAL is a microscopist and nutritionist by profession. Earlier on, we had the chef Rain Truth. We also had my brother, Dr. Mike ADDO, all the way from China. And it had been a very informative and impactful moment this evening. I am glad I was here, and I thank all my listeners: Daniel Trotter, Sharon Tomlinson, C. Wilo, Johnny Wood. Johnny Wood said he came a little late. Johnny Wood, it's okay. You are always here with us. And for all of you who join us on Facebook and on YouTube, if I'm not able to mention your name, it's because I couldn't see it to recognize you. But know that I love you and I appreciate your time and I appreciate your contribution to this show. Until next week, Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m. I'll say God be with you. Remember, to whom much is given, much is required. And my guests, I love you guys. We shall be doing this again, all right? Stay blessed. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. I'll give you a shout out. Let me give you a shout out, guys. All right. To God be the glory.